Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of our draft series. So two things to do before we get into the draft. I just want to remind you of the deck itself. So we're playing kind of a Gruul aggro / mid-range kind of deck. So we have a bunch of creatures. We have ways to give our creatures trample, and then we have evasion and Wings of Hubris, and sometimes you can just use the other effect to just get in the last points of damage. Our removal is mainly Wirebriar Blessing, Final Flare, 2 Iora's Blessings, and the Aquanor is technically or could be portrayed as a removal. This could be removal when it's paired with one of our war leaders, because we can gain control of something, attack, and then sacrifice it. That's something you should always keep in mind if you ever get to pair up these two cards. Mantle of the Wolf is a very cool enchantment, and it also synergizes well with the war leader, because you could just sacrifice it at any time. If you do, you get 2/2 wolves. That could be some way to surprise your opponent during an attack. And our last piece of removal is Final Flare. It's super good in this kind of deck, especially paired up with our sagas. You know why if you watch the previous video. If you don't, let's hope I get to show you in the game why. And Furious Rise is our way to gain incremental card advantage, because we have a bunch of ways to trigger it in this kind of deck. So we're 3-0 at this stage, and I hope we can kind of get to 7 wins. So my goal with this free-to-play account right now is to kind of get as many gems as I can, so when Ikoria hits, we get to directly buy the Mastery Pass. I think it's gonna be possible for me. I don't know if you want me to show you all of the drafts I do on this account to like show you how I'm getting the gems, do mention it in the video down below. But what could happen is that I can't grind off screen if you want me to do that, because we just agreed on that, and that could hinder my process, because I'm only gonna draft on this account on every Tuesday. And yes, I know, I'm sorry for that, but university has been killing me lately. Let's see. So our hand is pretty decent. If we draw a land, we're good, but I don't think I'm gonna keep it just because I have a 5-drop and a pump spell that's not gonna be used anytime soon. And we hit exactly the same land, just like worse, without a removal spell on it too. I think we're gonna be fine. So yeah, we just got a worse hand than the first one we kept, but that's fine. I believe we're gonna be able to recover from that. So I can't grind off screen for gems if you guys don't want me to, so just tell me in the comments down below. Please do mention it. And while our opponent is making his very, very important decision of what land to play on turn 1, oh, he mulliganed. I'm sorry, opponent. I apologize for being salty. So we don't draw a land, and that's gonna be quite scary, honestly. I hope we kind of draw our lands very soon. I hope we draw a land next turn. I mean, come on, deck. I know you got this in you, deck. Let's just not lose that way. Oh, if it would be funny if we don't draw our land and our opponent doesn't draw his land. Oh, that would be very funny. Oh, it's not funny. I'm sorry, opponent. I'm very sorry, opponent. Now next turn, if he gets his land and then he puts something to block with, we have our Infuriate up. Or we could just, if we draw a land, play Iora's Blessing. I'm very sorry, opponent. You're behind. I don't like winning that way. He plays his own Chimera, rendering this kind of useless, but we do draw our land, and I think I'm gonna gain control of it. And then that's gonna like produce so much damage, it's not gonna be even funny. And then we could just sacrifice this to Skovos War Leader if you don't want to return it to our opponent. That's gonna be very, very funny, honestly. So our opponent, if our opponent plays something, he's gonna have to use it to attack. We're probably gonna remove it regardless. So this is the one that our opponent, this is the one that our opponent owns. Obviously the one that did not attack. So let me tell you a bit about my day while we're waiting for our opponent to do this. So I finally finished Assassination Classroom. It was such a good anime. I'm not gonna spoil anything in the ending, but I cried so much. I never expected I'm gonna cry that much in my life. It was such a touching ending, honestly. We did not draw our land, so our plan of sacrificing this is gone. But what is not gone is our plan of just equipping this with that and then killing off this champion. I'm sorry once again, opponent. So going back to Assassination Classroom, it was such a good anime, and if you haven't watched it or if you're into anime, I recommend watching that. Another cool anime I recommend would be Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is such a cool anime. It reminds me of Full Metal Alchemist kind of quality, which is something I also recommend you to check. So can we go for the win? I think we can. Yeah, it's pretty much over, opponent. I'm very sorry. Can we? I mean, he can gain control of his Chimera. Or let's wait. Like, do we wait? Let's think about this. First of all, why did this go away? I have no idea, honestly. Why did this go away? Let's check. So Portent of Betrayal. I think we equipped the wrong one. I think that's why. So let's take control of his Hunt Master and then maybe attack with both. Or Do we just play the Cyclops and wait? I think I'm just gonna play the Cyclops and wait. Yeah, so because the anime is called Assassination Classroom, so you kind of know that the theme is assassins. So I'm gonna kind of have a tribute video on this channel, and yes, I do know that I make way too many tribute videos, and I agree, it's getting a bit funny at this stage, but I liked it so much that I do deserve it. It deserves a tribute video, so I'm gonna build something around Etrata and expect it to drop either on Saturday or on Sunday, and our opponent concedes. So with that, we're done with our game, and let's go into the next game. So going into game number 2, I don't think this is a hand I can keep, because like 2 lands and I'm going first, it's not something I would usually keep. This is a pretty better hand. Triumph of Anax isn't doing much right now, so I think I'm gonna bottom that, because like our first drop is gonna be a 5-drop. I can't bottom Furious Rise because like, come on, it's such a good card to keep. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We're trying to dig for our land. So let me tell you why I liked Assassination Classroom. Now the first season was a bit slow, but it kind of leads up to the ending, and it kind of gets you attached to the characters that you will never forget. He either top decked that or did not notice and not play it first turn. Now why do I think he top decked it? Because he played the first 1-drop on his second turn, so obviously he did not have it in his opening hand, and that's something you should always try to do, which is read your opponent's hand, because it can tell you what to do or what to play based on exactly what your opponent does. So he's gonna probably attack us for 2 right now, and we're not behind in any sort of way, because this is gonna draw us an extra card next turn, so technically our milling got nullified just by having Furious Rise in our opening hand. And we kind of try to draw maybe into our Iora's Blessing or something like that. Mantle of the Wolf would be bad. Warbearer Blessing is also good. What is it with all the blessings and them being removal? I don't know. So what we could do this turn is just play this, and I'm gonna probably enchant this guy because I don't have any other one to enchant, and deal with the Wayfarer. Now why the Cyclops? Why deal with this and not something that has flying? Because Transcendent Envoy is an enchantment creature, and one card that's pretty huge in the format right now is Karametra's Blessing. That gives us just an additional reason to deal with it. And what it does is it kind of gives +2/+2 and hexproof to the enchanted creature. So I wouldn't have tried to kill this just because it's an enchantment creature, and it would have gave it hexproof. But now this kind of makes it impossible for us to play around it, so we're just gonna have to go for it. And if it backfires, I mean, we just have to lose some games. We can't win all of them. So let's hope our opponent doesn't have it and did not notice what we have. Please, opponent, don't have it, don't have it, don't have it, don't have it, don't have it. And he doesn't have it. I mean, on the stack, what we could do is infuriate our creature because they're going to fight. And now I just hope that he doesn't have it. Opponent, don't have it. Do you have it, opponent, or not? He doesn't have it, and we just dodged a huge loss. Alright, I'm feeling very good about all of what's happening, and I'm very happy right now. I mean, we're kind of equal on equal terms with our opponent's drawing, because we have been drawing an extra card per turn. That's a cool card. That's a very cool card if he copies my 4/4 with it. I mean, this is just him getting the best card I control whenever he plays it. So yeah. So one funny thing that happened with this card in my LGS, so one of my friends was drafting this. He got 2 copies of it somehow, some way, don't ask me how. And what happened is that his opponent was playing creatures that were so bad that they weren't even worth copying. So he never copied any of them. And I think we're not gonna attack. I think I'm gonna attack and then play this, but I mean, because if he attacks with all of his creatures, this can't even block, so might as well attack with it, kind of prompt a block, and we do not. So what I was saying is that his opponent was playing so many bad creatures that nothing was worth copying, so he was playing a bunch of omens that make 1/1 tokens, and he wasn't going to copy a token, and then he just ended up losing that way. His deck was super good, but you know, he never got the opportunity to win. He might copy the 4/5 right now because it is better, even though he can't even use any of its abilities, but it's still a better card overall. And we kind of need to start drawing blockers now. This is gonna do the trick. A bunch of other cards can do the trick, but we're not behind, but we're not ahead in the race either. Mantle of the Wolf could fix the problem that I'm mentioning, but we need to draw it soon. Iora's Blessing also is a way to fix the problem. Now I think I'm gonna attack first before doing anything, because I want to see what my opponent is willing to lose and not willing to lose before going into any rash decisions. So we play our land obviously, and maybe I shouldn't have played it just to not have him play around the blessing. And I'm gonna attack with both. Yeah, it's not a game we're gonna win by just staying here and not doing anything. He might have the counter spell for creature for enchantments, because it's 3 mana, but this makes it 1 less, and so he can cast it technically. And he blocks this way. He changes his mind. Maybe he saw that we could kill it if he does anything wrong. And he's down to 9. So do we just go with the route of pumping this and then just blocking next turn? I mean, if he attacks with everything, we take 6, 7, 9. I think what I'm going to do is to play the thing that pumps and gives trample on this, because now that makes it a 4/4. That means it can trade with like a bunch of things my opponent plays, and kind of have my opponent tap out so he can't deal with the Iris Blessing. Next turn we have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana, meaning we can double spell, and that's pretty good in this kind of board state. And with the double spell, we might be able to get back into this game. I hope he does not search for something super good. I hope he doesn't have another one of these in his deck. Like, please, opponent, don't have another one of these. I'm not gonna be able to deal with it if he enchants it on this, for example. So opponent, don't have it, don't have it, don't have it. He does not have it, and he has one with the stars, which means he's 1 turn behind on using it. And I hope he has one more thing in his hand to kind of take away the doubt of me not knowing what to play. What? Oh yeah, he makes his enchantments cost 1 less, and now he's gonna attack us for 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. And he has this, but we could kill it with the blessing and then attack for exactly lethal, because what we could do is sacrifice this because it's an enchantment technically, and then we attack for 4 and 4, that's 8, sacrifice 9, and then sacrifice this, goes up all the way up to 10. And I hope he attacks with everything. Opponent, please misplay and attack with everything, I beg you. Opponent, go and attack with everything. I mean, you don't have to copy anything. I already have the best creature right now, which is the 4/5. It's the best creature I have on my board. So opponent copies it again. I have no idea why. And opponent, please misplay and attack with everything, I beg you. Opponent, attack with everything. Opponent, attack with everything. You know you want to attack with everything. Yes, yes, yes. Two more. Opponent, yes. And the flyer. And the flyer, opponent. Yes, yes. This turned out way better than I expected. So we're just gonna take 6, 8, 11. I mean, this is gonna make him... This is gonna give him 1 life, because when we deal with these creatures, he gains 1 life. But I think we're gonna have enough for lethal. Yeah. And then we draw Omen of the Forge. So if we did not have enough for lethal, we now have it. And Arena wanted to screw me out of this by tapping all of my red sources. Arena, you're not screwing me over today. You've done it way too many times with your auto tapper, but not today, Arena. Not today. So let's target the Heliod's Pilgrim and then attack with everything. And then anything we sacrifice is enough to give us lethal. I mean, we could also Omen of the Forge and then sacrifice, kind of mitigating any losses we might get. Yeah, thank you for getting pumped. That was quite useful. So, and now we just Omen of the Forge, deal 2, and that should be enough to end the game. So we don't even have to sacrifice anything, but I will, just out of respect for my opponent. So sacrifice this, and now the game is pretty much over. So with that, let's get into our... I mean, I think it's the semi-finals. Yeah, let's go into our semi-finals. So we lose 2 of our games, one of them due to internet connection, so I did not want to show that, and the other one due to our opponent just having a Pelucranos, which is very hard to deal with in this kind of format. So I did not want to show you like the very grindy game versus Pelucranos, because it did take 22 minutes. I want to keep this video as short as possible. If you want to ask me in the comments what happened, and if you want me to give you a rundown of basically the game, just do tell me and I will give you a in-depth explanation of what happened and how I lost. But I don't think it's worth including 22 minutes of content to just show that I lost. If it was for me winning, yeah, of course we would have shown that. No, I'm joking. I don't want to make this video way too long. And our hand is pretty weak, but I don't think we can get something way better. But this is our last game. I can't keep a risky hand like that. Yet again, I don't think we can draw that many things that are better. I'm gonna risky keep. Our opponent has Heliod Sleeves. I think this means that he bought the Secret Lair. And yeah, our opponent probably plays this game and pays a bunch of money into it. And we draw our Omen of the Forge, meaning we can stall a bit. Opponent might be playing a 3-color deck because of Trevor's Amulet, and he might just be playing a 2-color one and just thinks that this is a good enough card to include. I mean, if he doesn't have any other land in hand, Amulet kind of fixes that problem, and no, he does not have mana issues just yet. We're gonna deal with Daxos because we were not gonna be able to deal with it later on as the game progresses, and we don't want him to go bigger and wider. So we're gonna just drop that off, and we drop our one and only creature we draw, which is the Orrery of Mountain's Blaze. I could have dropped the Furious Rise, but we're not into any kind of situation where this is gonna give us any value. Plus, this might bait out one of the enchantment removal cards, which would cause Furious Rise to stick. So let's do that. In my opinion, that's a way better line of play. Our opponent doesn't have anything. We're not gonna drop Mantle of the Wolf because I'm suspecting a counterspell, and I don't want this to get counterspelled. So we're just gonna cycle through our deck, draw into our good cards, and then if he wants to counter that, I mean, feel free, opponent. I don't mind you countering this. He does not want to counter that. Big misplay, opponent. Big misplay. And we're just gonna play Wings of Hubris. Hopefully he does counter that. He does not counter it either. I think the thing that only counters creatures or enchantments, so even if he wanted to, he couldn't. Let's just attack for 2, and he has the best defender in this game, which is the Turtle. And he probably top decked that because he did not play it on turn 2, or he just top decked his island. That could be an option as well. And I think we're gonna go with the Mantle of the Wolf route if he doesn't play anything, and if he does play something, and I hope he does. Wings of Hubris makes this not an issue anymore because we can just give it flying, and then when you give it flying, he can't block it anymore. So he's playing Esper, and I do like people who play Esper, but hopefully I don't like getting paired against them because of how much removal they have. But I like playing against Esper nonetheless. So Birth of Meletus, meaning I don't think he has a way to deal with our creature just yet, unless he has the 2-mana enchantment that says give target creature -3/-3. If he had, we probably would have used it by now. One thing that could hurt us would be the bounce spell, but I hope he does not have it. Please don't have the bounce spell, opponent. The bounce spell would kill a lot of our future plans, and he does not have it. Let's just give our creature flying and then attack for 6, and with that case, we're done with our creature with our opponent's blockers, and then we can just get to attack, and in 3 turns we win the game, and that's pretty good. That's very, very good. Now, we're not that ahead yet, but we're in a fine position. If he plays like anything valuable, we can gain control of it with the war, and then equip this, sacrifice it just like we've done before. Hopefully it doesn't get to that. Hopefully it doesn't get to that. Traveler's Amulet is fine. I think he's running way too much fixing and not enough threats, or maybe that's his problem. And this makes it doesn't really change our clock because we're going to win in 3 turns regardless. It doesn't change that much. We're gonna play our land, and then we're gonna try to bait out one of his counter spells with Furious Rise, because I'd much rather have this stick than Furious Rise, because this can win us the game out of nowhere, while as the Rise can't win it directly. It wins it in the long game. I do agree, but I'd much rather have this stick when he plays something problematic. And he doesn't even have a counter spell. I'm very confused of what my opponent is doing. Omen of the Sun is fine, and Omen of the Sun makes it where we have to wait 2 more turns, because now 2 more turns and we win. Furious Rise is gonna be good because we're gonna get to dig deeper, and we're gonna get to draw some cards, block maybe, and he gets another blue source. I mean, I don't know what I should expect in Esper colors. Honestly, this is a very good draw. Honestly, this is a very, very good draw. Witness of Tomorrow is a decent card, to be honest, but I think I'm gonna gain control of it. Just get rid of that, and then I think I'm gonna scry, and if I find the land, I'm gonna scry that land to the top, and then we kind of have the clear path of winning. Let's hope we do get to it. If I see a land on top, I will probably keep it. Let's see. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This makes it 7, and then that doesn't really matter if you have it at 7. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep that and then have the land get exiled against Furious Rise. That's a good enough line of play. My turn, and we're gonna attack, and then if worse comes to worse, we just final flare our opponent's Witness of Tomorrow. Maybe we get rid of our Trample, that is not that good right now. He doesn't have any blocker, so Trample isn't changing that much. So we're just gonna play our Typhoon, and the next turn we can just War, take this, and then attack with that and just win. That will be good enough, and we just take that. And let's hope we get to keep this on the field, stick this on the field, and then just win that way. If he plays anything serious, we just gain control of it, and then when we do, what happens is we final flare it, and then that could be over. If he plays another flyer right now, we could go for that line of play and then kind of finish the game. Do we have enough mana? I think we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, we would have 7 exactly. That would be enough to end the game. Alright, so we're gonna try to bait a counter spell. And we could even go for the Blessing. And then the Blessing would do the exact same thing and keep the War with us on our hand. So I'm gonna go with that. And I hope he does have a remove a spell. I hope he taps out. Please tap out, opponent. Opponent, tap out. Have a counter spell. He doesn't even have a counter spell. I'm seriously curious of what my opponent is doing. So he plays another Riptide Turtle. And he concedes. And with that, we only have one more game to win. Let's do it. Let's do it. I believe we can, and I think we're in Bronze Tier 1, yeah. The kind of things you get to see, a man climbing from Bronze Tier 4 to Mythic. That's something I would definitely subscribe for. I'm super tired, I'm sorry. So one more win and we get our gems and our 2 packs, and then we get to dig deeper into our Mastery Pass. So let's do this, and I believe we can. Unless like we do not draw our lands. Watch me predict what's exactly going to happen. So let's do this. Your creatures can attack your opponent or their planeswalkers. When you click a creature to attack with it, click the planeswalker or the opponent to decide what they're attacking. Pretty good tip, honestly. Use your life as a resource. If you are looking at your hand, you are looking at your hand. That's what exactly Arena gives you as tips. Omen of the Forge, and this is pretty much good tempo, honestly, and I think that's pretty decent enough to keep. We could keep on killing his threats, pumping this, attacking for damage, and that's a cool line of play that I like. Hateful Eidolon might prompt me to just kill this before playing anything, because I don't want him to get any value out of this. We don't really deal with value decks quite well. We kind of have a linear plan we're trying to stick into, and then we're trying to finish the game as quickly as possible. So he's attacking for 1, we're taking 1, and I hope he taps out next turn. I don't think there's any pump effects in black, but... Alright, so we're killing that. We're definitely killing that. Scrape everything I've mentioned previously. This cannot survive. This is gonna make too many blockers, and we can't deal with that. We cannot deal with that at all. Furious Rise is a good top deck because we get to play the Oracle, and then we get to pump the Oracle to ensure that we make it to the requirements of Furious Rise. Yeah, this is gonna go away, opponent. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm very happy with killing this. I'm very happy with killing this. And hopefully he doesn't have Omen of the Dead. I'm gonna keep Omen of the Forge just in case he has Omen of the Dead. I don't want him to gain that kind of value. And what he could have is the enchantment that says at the beginning of your upkeep sacrifice a creature. But what we will do in that case is to just Omen of the Forge this in response before we actually get to sacrifice the creature. Now why, you might ask? Because this says you draw a card if a creature dies if it had an enchantment you control enchanted to it. So this would have drawn him a card, but if we do Omen of the Forge on the stack, he doesn't draw a card, and I don't want him to draw cards. Let's be very honest, I don't want him to draw any cards. Aspect of Lamprey. So his lifelink creature has lifelink now. And I think we can safely discard Infuriate and the land. We don't need that many lands at this stage. Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to deal with to discard these two, and I'm pretty sure he's not gonna attack. So let's attack before doing anything. I don't think discarding the Infuriate is gonna come back to haunt us. I'm very positive that it's not. So Furious Rise is getting played, and we can just sit back and then keep pumping the Oracle to make sure that our Rise triggers, and then that way we get to draw some cards and hopefully get back into the game. So he's not playing mono black, so I was wrong. So now he gives his Eidolon indestructible. That's pretty good if you ask me. He attacks for 2, he nullifies our early turn, and that's good. And I don't know if we just want to go for the line of play I mentioned, which is just to ensure this gains us value. I think I am going to go for that. So pump, and I know it's like stupid, but we need to start to dig for things, and we don't even have double green. So if we hit a double green card, we're quite behind. Alright, so at least we hit a green source. I'll take it. And now next turn we have Omen of the Forge and double pump available. He's probably gonna attack with both. Yeah. And I'm gonna play around the thing that gives +2/+2 and the Indestructible by not doing anything. And there's no Ember Cleave in this format that I know of, at least. So Eidolon of Obstruction is gonna obstruct our game plan. Haha, see what I did there? So what we're going to do is play the Chimera and have the Omen of the Forge up, and that's a very good line of play. Because now we get to, if he doesn't do anything, we get to scry at end step. That's good, and then we get to kill this finally, because this was going to run out of the game. What do we hit? We hit another land, yet another land, but that's fine. I mean, we're getting them out of the way. We did already with 1 land, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we're playing 17 lands, meaning we only have 8 lands left to draw. Let's hope we draw a bunch of gas, a bunch of action. So we're gonna block if he attacks with everything. We're gonna block this way, because if he pumps this or tries to do anything funny, we just Omen of the Forge it. That's good. So he does go for what I mentioned, which is attack with everything, and then we're gonna do what I've said, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna try to pump this in response. And does this say whenever an enchanting creature, or yeah, it doesn't say another. If it was saying another, I would have been happier with that, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it's good that he only has 1 white source, because he can't use the pump spell twice. He can only have 1, and that's good. Let's see. So opponent, do you have anything to do? Opponent, and he does do something, so we're gonna stop that in its tracks. No, opponent, you're gonna get to draw a card out of that, but that's as much as I'm willing to give you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not nice enough, opponent. Yeah, so he kind of got back the thing that he discarded for this, and now what we could do is either play something or kind of escape our Chimera. Do you have enough? We have 2 cards in our graveyard, so I'll just say it. And he drops a Nightmare Shepherd. And I don't know if you can deal with that. I honestly don't know if you could deal with the Shepherd. Yeah, I don't think we can deal with that just yet, deck, I'm gonna be honest. So this is gonna cost us 5 to escape, so do we have enough to do sacrifice escape? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't have enough. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't have enough to do both. So I think what we're going to go for is block and then double Omen, and then try to dig for a removal spell. I think that's the only good line of play we can go for, but we're going to be pretty behind. We're going to be down to a mere 4 life. Unless if he has removal also, that would be pretty sad for us. So our opponent is probably going to attack with both, and as I mentioned before, we're going to go for block, and if we don't get a removal spell, the game is over in its tracks. Like literally, the game is over. What could happen, and if we reveal Final Flare and Final Flare and the gain control effect, what we could do is just sacrifice this after Furious Rise, gives us the thing I'm thinking about, and we don't want any of these. Let's try again, deck. Let's do this. War off the top, war off the top, war off the top. So war off the top, deck. Can we do it? And no, not anything we wanted. And we're dead next turn if combat damage resolves. So we have enough mana to play this and the blessing, kill this, but that would give him the copy. So I'm gonna bottom that obviously, but if we go for the line I mentioned, which is the enchant this, give it +2 fight, it's gonna kill this, and then what's going to happen is he's gonna get a 1/1 copy of it. Yeah, I think we're losing that game, but let's try. I always try to dig for like situations where I would have never won. If he has a blocker, okay, he doesn't have another threat to follow up with, so that's fine. We might survive, and if we do, this is gonna be a very good comeback. So we're gonna get rid of this, this, and this. I don't think there's many things from the top deck that can save us. Probably back one more. Yeah, I don't think anything else can save us besides that. Like literally nothing else. And if he has a removal spell right now, game is pretty much game, set, over. So let's go for a removal plan. If he has a removal spell or a final death, good job opponent, you deserve the win. Especially with you not drawing your white source anytime soon. He has something, I don't know what it is, but he has something. So Omen of the Sun ends our dreams. So good game opponent, and let's take the damage. Let's take the damage. Yep. So I'm not gonna concede, just let him have his win. And I'm sorry I did not get to do everything. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. So we're gonna kill the Eidolon. Just so he gets it back as a 1-1. And our dream of going into 7 wins did not happen. Mainly because of our internet problems. And I'm sorry everyone, living in a third world country kind of forces you into not having good internet connection. And we top decked the final flare. And the Banishing Light. Yeah, I think the game would have been over regardless. So good game opponent. Good game opponent. Now what could happen is our opponent doesn't go for the win, but yeah, he does go for it. It's over. So that's gonna be pretty much it for the first draft. But now what I'm going to do is, in addition to this video that I'm going to upload of us playing the games, I'm gonna draft the deck, and then the week after we're gonna get to see it in action. So thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the content, consider to subscribe, and with that, see you guys next time.